Hey everybody, it's Goblin and welcome back to some more Magic Arena, and today we're going to be playing another premiere draft of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one. Not a crazy pack here, both of the rares here are a little bit weak for just like a 1v1 draft or sealed environment. I do think we could take the Firebender Ascension, pack one, pick one here. It's a 2-mana 2/2 with Firebending 1. The one flaw that this really has is that there is a lot of potential like bounce in the format that ends up blowing up your token, which is pretty rough for you. So I'm not super high on Firebender Ascension anymore. I did try to play it like once and had a pretty bad time with it because I constantly had the token bounced. So that leaves Lightning Strike for the best removal spell in the pack, and then the Messenger Hawk for a really flexible pack one pick one. That would be a really solid hybrid mana card we could play in any blue or black deck. So I think there's also a reasonable argument for the Messenger Hawk there, but we'll just start with the Lightning Strike. So we get pick number 2. So we've got another really solid monocolored removal spell, the Sold out of black here. Razor Rings and Path to Redemption are decent as well, but I assume Sold Out would be quite a bit better, being able to exile anything, as well as hitting larger stuff than Razor Rings can. Tools of War is a very fun build around, but it would be a Signpost and common, a 2-colored card in a completely different direction. And then I think there are quite a few humans in the set, so I don't think the Zookeeper is actually that crazy. So I'm going to go for the Sold Out there. Pick 3, there's not a lot going on here. Some pretty weak uncommons. As for the commons, Airbending Lesson's been a fine tempo play. Freedom Fighters if we have a bunch of stuff that cares about allies. Or Badger Mold does look like the most impressive of these cards. I have not played a lot of green at all, but I have died to many Badger Moles already. This card has always been quite the threat on the opposing side of the board. I'm going to grab a Badger Mole here. We're definitely still early enough to be dabbling in a bunch of different colors, just taking the strongest card in each pack for now. Which for pick 4, there's like a Sokka's Haiku, very expensive counterspell, but good impact if you resolve it. Or Rocky Rebuke for a pretty efficient green removal spell. Those are my favorite cards here. Yeah, I'll take the Rebuke here after the Badger Mole. Pick 5. Stick to green, grab an Ostrich Horse. 3 mana, 3/1, draw a land is pretty good, but sometimes it'll miss, and you will not draw land when you play it. So it's just okay. Messenger Hawk is pretty decent and very flexible with its mana cost. And there's like off-color removal like Razor Rings. I think Messenger Hawk and Ostrich Horse make the most sense here. I'm going to lock in on green. We haven't played a green deck in a while. In fact, just haven't done it at all within our premiere draft since the set's launch at least. Pick 6, Lightning Strike. That feels pretty late for that, so it could be a green-red deck here. Although Lost Days is another solid removal spell, it's certainly slower at 5 mana, but it's a 2-for-1 removal spell, because you are going to bounce their card back into their library and draw a card out of this. And putting their card back on top of their library, even if they do get to recast it eventually, that still does count as 1-for-1 removal, because they're spending another draw step to redraw into that card, so they are not like up a card, even if they do get it back eventually. Pick 7. It's not an exciting pack. Could take Wandering Musicians. It's a red card that's also hybrid mana value to be flexible. Or we could try the potentially main deckable. Yeah, this is pretty main deckable. Naturalize. Naturalize, but you use it as a little indestructible combat trick if there's nothing to blow up. Yeah, I'll go for that Naturalize card. Pick 8. That's pretty late for the Quench counterspell. And we're 1 card deep into black, 2 into red. We're not tied to anything here. Yeah, I think we can take Quench over the Earthbending lesson. Pick 9. Some different fine filler cards. Take one of the on-color ones. I'll grab Azula Always Lies. I like me a Subtle Strike. That was the name of this exact card, except it's not a lesson. That was pretty good in a lot of previous draft formats. I think green-black would be a pretty good color pair for this because we are going to be a very creature-heavy deck for that color pair. Pick 10. Razor Rings looks like the best card here by quite a lot. I think it's worth taking over a filler red creature even though we do have double Lightning Strike. Pick 11 Freedom Fighters. Pick 12. Disciple filler enough to take Haiku over it? Probably. This way, the way we've drafted so far, we're definitely green, and if we open any powerful rare in literally any color, we can slam it in and just play that color now. Not a 2-color rare, though. It's not really going to work out. The Sokka here. I will just take the Bossing Say, the green flood prevention land. You get to turn all of your lands into creatures in the late game. Seems pretty good in a board stall. Pick 2. All right, well, there's a really solid blue rare. You can flash this in response to your opponent, like cracking a clue or playing a draw spell, so you can draw a couple cards as well. You can also flash it in and eat one of their attacking creatures. It's got a relatively hefty ward cost, but your opponent can tap their non-land permanents, their creatures and artifacts to pay for that cost too, so that helps get around it a little bit. Also don't think it'd be crazy to take Combustion Technique, because we are a tiny bit deeper into red than blue currently, but I think the Unagi is strong enough here to go for green-blue. Another Quench here, or a Messenger Hawk, seems decent. Take the Quench. River Spirit is pretty good top end when you've got a good amount of permanents to help tap for that Waterbending, but we're actually really low on cheap creatures right now. Right, when it comes to permanents that we're playing before turn 5, there's a single Ostrich Horse, so we're not doing a good job at all of Waterbending and actually helping cast this anytime relatively early at all. So I actually think that currently, just like another Badger Mole is better, maybe, even though it's a much weaker card, even an Iguana Parrot just to get more lower on the curve. But I think Badger Mole is a super, super strong card, so I'd rather just grab a second copy of that, even if it doesn't look great mana curve wise. Pick 5, Professor Zay, or we could ramp into our 1,000,000 5-drops with Shared Roots. This is also a lesson, and there are a lot of green-blue build around uncommons that care about lessons specifically, particularly like ending up in your graveyard. So I like the lesson rampant growth for this deck, I think. Pick 6 now. Very happy to take Rebellious Captives as a card that'll help fill out our mana curve early, which we really need, while also being something to dump our mana into late with its exhaust ability. Captives looks really nice for this deck. Although these other 2 cards that kind of care about lessons would also be pretty decent. Pick 7, Forecasting Fortune Teller looks perfect. It's a nice little speed bump to slow our opponents down, but also draw us a card with that clue. Definitely looking for more cheap little blockers, and that's a pretty perfect one. I'm taking it over Rocky Rebuke here, so missing a little bit of interaction, but we have 2 counter spells, 1 removal spell. Actually 3 counters and 1 removal spell. So hopefully we can just take 1 or 2 more removal spells by the end of the draft, still have plenty of interaction. Pick 8, here's another little speed bump, Kyoshi Battle Fam. Pick 9, Wheel of Sokka, throw it in the side. Pick 10, get another Shared Roots. Double Shared Roots now could help a splash be a little easier, and now we get a green-red duel as well. 2 Shared Roots and Omashu City. 2 Shared Roots and 2 Omashu Cities. Splash in some lightning strikes off of that, and maybe even the Sokka then. Because that's 5 red sources if we play a single mountain. Okay. If we're really lucky, we open up the green, blue, red lesson card, the Uncle Iroh, the rare version. That would be pretty cool. Last pick, Monster Paku. I don't mind that at all. Just another cheap blocker. Okay, pack 3, pick 1. There's another Quench. There's a Lightning Strike. First time flyer. This is not a super exciting pack. Really don't think we're a waterbending scroll deck. I don't think a lot of decks would care too much about that. I guess Earth Village Ruffians. Play that off green alone. 3 mana, 3/1 dies, Earthbend 2. Yeah, it's a pretty fine roadblock. Yeah, I'll take the Ruffians here. Again, working on that mana curve a bit. Ooh, get splashed in a Dragonfly Swarm. Got a relatively high non-creature count for that card. This could be a good finisher. Definitely like another Rebellious Captives. The Unlucky Cabbage Merchant could be fun here as another way to fix your mana. Tutor out whatever basic we need. But I'm going to grab Captives here. I think the fixing already looks pretty good, and the Captives is a bit more presence in terms of board presence. Very likely to cut this Battle Fan. I don't know if we want to play this Sokka that much. We can probably still play it off the splash. Because even if we don't hit the red for it till later, it has an ability that could remain relevant for us. Because if we don't get to cast this till late game, maybe we got extra lands sitting in our hands to ditch to the ability immediately. Do that digging. There's a second Sokka, I guess. That is cooler than anything else in this pack. Rumble Arena is probably the safest card, though. It's a really good one to animate with Badger Moles as well. Got Vigilance, Scry off of recasting. Yeah, I'll take Rumble Arena here over a second Sokka. Watery Grasp, slow our opponent down a little bit. Not premium removal or anything, but it is removal. Sure. Pick 6, another Rocky Rebuke. Which, honestly, Rocky Rebuke doesn't look super good in here just because you don't have a very high creature count, particularly not a lot of big creatures. Lost Days and Grand looking fine. Probably just take more big interaction. That non-creature count super high. Here's a blue-red duel. Mana base is going to be wonderful for this splash. And let's see if we can maybe cut Rebukes here now that we're throwing like Lost Days and stuff in as well. Grab a first-time flyer. Seismic Sense. Probably not playing Aang's Journey, but more likely than the rest. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lands drafted. This is 25 non-land cards right now. I'll play a Boomy Bash over Rocky Rebuke in this deck. So we've got an interesting teamer kind of control-y deck here with a whole bunch of interaction, trying to play like a late-game Dragonfly Swarm as a super big threat, or just some Unagis and Badger Moles for the average game. I think I can cut a land here. We have Seismic Sense and double Shattered Roots. All 3 of these cards immediately turn themselves into a land. The Shattered Roots, we do have to have 2 lands in the opener to cast it, but I guess Seismic Sense basically as well. Like, we don't want to just play Forest Seismic Sense. So maybe like Ruffians for the most filler creature, cut that instead of a land, but again, with these 3, I think I am gonna cut the land here. So how are the colors looking? 10 green, 11 blue, 5 red. So a bunch of green and blue and a little bit of red. I really don't think I need more than 1 mountain. We've got 5, 6, 7, 8 green sources, 6, 7, 8 blue sources. We're even on both. I'm going to go higher on green, even though I technically have 1 more blue spell than green spells. I have 3 green spells that can fix mana. Seismic Sense not as much as Shared Roots, where Shared Roots can literally get whatever color we need, but Seismic Sense does dig through our library a little bit to find another color within the top 3 or 4, depending on when we play it. All right, very interesting deck here. Super different from our last couple. We've just been playing a lot of black decks, just getting past a bunch of great removal and stuff early. So this time around, some teamer spells, nonsense, a lot of late game stuff here. Thanks to the double captives, we actually have Unagi, Badgermole, and double captives. So like play some cheap counter spells and burn, ramp up a little bit, and then play some big high impact 5 or 6 mana like commons. But if we're lucky, then we also have like Dragonfly Swarm or Sokka as pretty nasty finishers. So should be a pretty fun deck. Not sure at all how this one's going to do, but it'll be very interesting to see. So without further ado, let's hop into the gameplay, see how far this one takes us. I forgot to cut a land to bring it to 16 lands. We cut the forest and go 50-50 on blue and green. This is a nice opener. We actually get to try the turn 2 Sokka. See how that plays out for us. No early removal, please, opponent. Actually gonna ditch creature, I think. I'll probably keep the ostrich horse. I could use the mana draw off it. Get rid of captives and teller. Ooh. I'm tempted to just hold up quenches. Just sock a quench all day long. But mana efficient if they don't kill Sokka here to play this and then double quench is held up. Oh no. No lands from the ostrich horse. Milled 3 spells in a row. That is not good. Dragonfly Swarm hits the board. There's our land. Wrong order, my friend. We're flooding out a little bit, but thanks to our non-basics in this deck, we have a little bit of flood prevention. Our Omashu City here, we can sack it to draw a card. We have 2 other lands we can sack to draw a card in this deck, as well as one that turns our lands into 2/2s over time. Poxbearers. Sure, I'll quench that. Quench basically anything here with Sock on the board. And we are definitely flooding, I will say. Put them to 12, though. The 4/2 Ostrich Horse is doing its thing. Go to the end step. Could crack this land, but then if they have instant speed removal, I'm giving them the opportunity to cast it without worrying about our quench. And there is a great 5 mana instant speed blue removal spell. It's the one that puts something back into the library and gives you a clue token. So I'm going to play around that by not cracking the land here. Razor Rings is the removal though, which quench cannot stop. And our top deck was yet another land. Oh my god, it's literally an activated ability removal spell as well. And obviously we can't counter activated abilities with the quench. Well, that was gross. They've got a second Dragonfly Swarm. We hit a Rumble Arena for another land. It's an Unagi now, but because I sacked the land, I don't have the mana to cast it while holding the quench up. First time flyer, 2/3 flyer is not going to help. These are going to be 3/3s very soon. I think we're gonna die here, but we'll see. Just a little too many lands, a little too early. We're on 10 drawn so far in this game. I'm not gonna flash this in just to kill a single 1/3 over holding up quench and playing it in the end step. Yeah, we'll quench the 5/7 unblockable. There's Badgermole. Doesn't do anything in the sky here. Is really any better than Unagi? It's multiple creatures, one of which gets to hit them right now while still being held up on blocks. And even if they removal spell the Badger Mole or stun the Badger Mole, we can block the 1/3 and stop the damage here. Okay, take 4 in the sky, down to 8. Another land. Pass through. Go to 4. Could have just main phased the Unagi to play around a counterspell from our opponent. But we can afford the Quench now, so the only counter they could have that would work is the uncommon 5-mana counterspell, as far as I remember. Take 4 in the sky again. I have 1 turn to actually draw something. They're going to pass through. The Unagi doesn't do anything to stop me from dying next turn, so I think I actually have to sacrifice this city instead of casting the Unagi. It's another land, and then a Rampant Growth. Ooh. Yeah. This was way too much mana for game 1, and that is going to be 0-1 heading into game number 2. Here we are for game 2. No green in the opening hand, but we have an early Watery Grasp and a Quench. Which seems fine. Opponent is curving out on us on the play. Fire Nation Cadets into Poxbearers from Rakdos. Drawn a 4th blue source before our first green. We're on a 50-50 split of the 2. Quench the 2nd Poxbearers and grasp the 1st. And then play a 1/3 on blocks. Could grasp the Cadets instead of the Poxbearers. Because this, with 4 mana up, they could double buff it to kill the Master, but they need a secondary spell to actually kill Master with the Poxbearers. Sure, play your 1-for-1 Subtle Strike or Lightning Strike or whatever. That's a 2-for-1 because it makes a clue. That I am much less happy with. There's our green, but it's going to come out tapped here. Tundra Tank. 4/4 Firebending 1. Blow that up with the Origin of Metal Bending, but I can also just try to kill it with Unagi here. Zuko can draw a card, get a counter, get a mana, eventually goes to my board if they don't sacrifice him. Okay. We can cast Ruffians and Metal Bend away their Tundra Tank, or I can flash in the Unagi here. I think it's worth the draw 2 if they choose to draw the card here. Yeah, I think it's worth the draw 2 to flash this in now instead of trying to kill Tundra Tank with it. And this can still stop the damage for the turn. Ooh, combat trick again? Alright, you got it. It's got to be another +3/+1, exactly, for them to have Poxbearers eat the Unagi. If it's +3/+1, though, the Tundra Tank block is still great. Let's go Tundra Tank, and then watch it be like Subtle Strike or something. Although Subtle Strike wouldn't work great here. It is the +3/+1 again. Okay, that is our best block against +3/+1. Draw another card. There's Rumble Arena for us. We can go Ruffians. And Fortune Teller. Like to shut off our ruffians on blocks. Rough. Go to 4. The top deck is a 4/2 that draws another card. Certainly have to bash the creature that shuts off blockers. We go 3/1 on the Fire Nation Raider. 1/3 on the 3/4. We actually might want to kill Zuko because Zuko makes us lose life every turn. Once he's on our board. Yeah, we don't even want the Zuko on our board. Yikes. But I can't kill Zuko without metal bending onto ruffians. But I can kill that for free. Trump there and save this. Crack a clue for the turn. And they have the lightning strike off the top. No. Alright, draw a card. Land. Draw for turn is Quench. Way too late for Quench. They've got 8 mana out. So we gain control of their Zuko here. Which is gonna be actually painful. Because we're gonna go to 1 off of the first trigger in our main phase. So we gotta kill them or sack this Zuko fast. Dragonfly Swarm? Badger Mole. I could give them Zuko back so Zuko doesn't kill me next turn. I think I have to draw the card and I just have to find Lightning Strike to Lightning Strike this Zuko. I mean, if I give Zuko back, go to 1. Cast Badger Mole. But if I give Zuko back and go to 1, then they give Zuko back and I go to 0 anyway. There's no reason to give them Zuko back, because then they can just give Zuko back again. And I die. Okay. Yeah, it's draw and find Lightning Strike. And that's not Lightning Strike, so we lose no matter what, correct? Unless this airship engine room finds Lightning Strike. And I can wait till my upkeep to try to do that. Yeah, if we draw Lightning Strike, we win. So let's just go all in on untap, draw Lightning Strike, win. We have 2 copies of it in here. Yes! Oh my god. Okay. That's a game of magic there, I guess. We are 1-1 heading into game 3. Here we are for game number 3. We are definitely relying on Ostrich Horse and Seismic Sense here to find our other colors in this hand. But with 2 different ways to be drawing into more mana, I am a solid fan of the hand. I'm going to wait on the Seismic Sense till we have more lands on board for the larger digging. Turn 4 should have a gap in the mana curve where we're not spending all 4 of our mana. This early in the game, it's a little bold to try to be hoping to hold up a 5 mana counterspell in the future. So I feel that's probably the best ditch, but it could also be Lightning Strike without a red source at all here. But I'm going to ditch the Haiku here. Horsey, which looks very bad in this matchup, but we still need mana, so here we are. I could have kept this island in the graveyard, so this would be 2 toughness against these 1 power creatures, but we need to hit every land drop, get to our Badger Mole as quick as possible. Okay. Seismic Sense for 4. Rumble Arena is our red source for Lightning Strike and a good land to animate for Badger Mole, so I like that. And here's Paku, which is actually a good blocker in this matchup. Long Fang from our opponent, that's a good Lightning Strike target. I don't mind just striking that off the board here. Ooh, Bossing Say plus Rumble Arena is quite the combo. We just keep juicing it up over and over and over again, and every time it dies, it comes back and scries for us again. Love to see that, and love to see Dragonfly Swarm. We are hitting some good draws this game. Could poke them for 2 and mill them too. Am I confident enough in my aggressive position to do that instead of just holding the 1 damage off? Yeah, I mean, it's 1 damage. Next turn we play this and then Badger Mole up the Rumble Arena. Beetle-headed Merchants. Okay, that's certainly going to make things a little harder. 5/4 body. They can sack Corrupt Court Official or Callous Inspector, draw a card, get a counter on that. Could block with like our whole board here to make sure that we deal with that through any combat trick. Okay, they're just not even going to attack, and now we are really safe against combat tricks. I guess this is going to be a game where we just start poking them with Dragonfly Swarm. Right, we're in a board stall, but we just hit them turn over turn with our flyer while they don't hit us at all. And while we're doing that, we can just keep making Rumble Arena bigger and bigger and bigger. You can spam this Earthbend onto the same land over and over. Which feels like the ideal way to play it here. Okay, Buzzard Wasp Colony is pretty good. They can sack one of their 1/1s to draw a card. And if they get any +1/+1 counters anywhere, those will get moved over to the Wasp Colony. Seems a little slow and finicky for the cost. I think we've had the opportunity to draft this a few times in our black-white sack decks, and it just never looked all that worth it. But it looks perfectly fine here. They don't have any counters to go with it yet, but they had a long thing if I didn't kill it. They do get a slightly better attack out of Beetle-Headed Merchants now, because they attack in, sack a card, get a counter on it, draw a card. I would trade, and then the counter would move to the flyer. Then they'd have a big enough flyer for the swarm, but they are still not interested in that, it looks like. Okay. I can cast the Fortune Teller or make Rumble Arena a 4/4. I think I'd rather get my clue here. Still should technically main phase 2 this. Because it's not like it's affecting the board at all pre-combat. Aang's really nice. What is their best airbend target here? Maybe just the swarm. Keep it off of an attack next turn. Badger Mole, so they can try to make an attack of their own. Okay. One, two, three, four, five. Combat trick if things go awry. Nothing has gone wrong, so allow that damage to go through. I think the scariest part of Aang here is getting lifelink every time they play a lesson. That could be really hard to outrace. Watery Grasp. Try to shuffle Aang back in. Yeah, I'll keep it. That is a destroy removal spell, so Indestructible will save this. And it'll double buff it, a +1/+1 counter as well as one more non-land card in our grave. They take the 5. And here we want to shuffle in the life linker. So we have 1 blue mana. After this, we have 1 blue mana and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 untapped creatures or artifacts. That's perfect. We'll have to tap out completely, but it will be worth it to make sure they have no lifelink. And I can do that at instant speed as well, so I actually can still make blocks and then waterbend it away. Wow, Water Grasp's a lot better than I was giving it credit for early in the set. Thinking about that Waterbending. That's, like, really nice in these late game positions like this. Because the Waterbend 5 is literally free on this board. Because we can wait until declaring blocks and then do it still. Since it's an instant speed ability. Sick. 6 power flyer now. If we draw removal, that's lethal on board. Sokka is not removal. But we also got the Trampling Rumble Arena. Should be pretty rough blocks for our opponent here. Tempted to just send it, flunge it in. Yeah, let's just flunge it in. See what that last card in hand is. Airbend the Dragonfly Swarm. Yep. Trump the non-trampling 4/4. Let the trampling 4/4 through, so they're going to go down to 2 here to kill our Fortune Teller, and then we'll recast Dragonfly Swarm. Okay. Tolls of War is the draw. Very good card for the black-white decks. That's kind of the key to getting the decks really, really functioning, so certainly a bummer for our opponent they haven't drawn it until this point, but there is a slight chance they could stabilize with it even this late in the game. Really nice with Judy. They can sack the clue, get a 2/2 and a 1/1. The top card was a second Tolls of War. Wow, they have a really nice black-white sack deck. They just didn't really hit the key cards until super late this game, unfortunately. 4 blockers. 5 attackers. I mean, I think I have lethal if I make this a 6/6 trample or if I make another land a creature. I think either way I have lethal. Thanks to trample. So I'm just going to do that. Crack a clue. GG from opponent. Just GG back. I think, right, 1/1 there, 4/3 there, take 3. 4/3 2 take 1, 2. Yeah, it's exactsies. Alright. That is 2 and 1 heading into game number 4. Alright, here we are on the play now for game number 4. Don't actually get to play the Seismic Sense turn 1. You want to wait till you have a few lands out. I'm probably going to fit it in at that 4 mana slot on the curve again, because we don't have a lot of like 4 mana plays in this deck. So we can play like this and a 3-drop on turn 4, or this and a 2-drop. Fire Nation Cadets is the turn 1 play from our opponent, and they're on Boros. They're on red and white, 2 different 1-mana creatures here, so pretty aggressive deck. Luckily we've got a nice opening hand against aggro. We've got the Master Paku as well as the Earth Village Ruffians. Both are great blockers. So 1/3 with prowess, a 3/1 that dies, replaces itself with another 2/2. There's a Menacing Vindictive Warden. Not a fan of that. If I Watery Grasp it, they just farm animals here. Right, because I don't have the 5 mana up for the Waterbend after playing it. So I need to wait till I have enough permanents to fully Waterbend to play Watery Grasp this game. So let's just Seismic Sense and see what we find. We find land 5, which I think we just want the untapped land to play Badgermole or Lost Days instead of Amashu City. Yeah, let's go untapped land on that. And we pass here. We might double block the Warden. Could get got by a combat trick. Ooh. 4 toughness. Okay, the double block is still good. Yeah, no, the double block still is in our favor unless they have a good combat trick here. If they do, that's still tapped and it's the only creature they have that matters, so that I can get that Watery Grasp. I guess I wouldn't have enough permanents to Waterbend yet, still. But if they sack the farm animals to save the warden, that's 2 of their maximum, like, 4 mana next turn. Well, no, this is a good game to show off, like, the versatility of Firebending, right? They can use Firebending mana on this, in which case they still get to spend, like, the rest of their mana playing more creatures. I have no idea what that is. What is happening? Oh, yeah, I mean, something just happened. Just had their 1/1 fight the 3/1 so that we don't kill the warden anymore. That's actually was perfectly fine, right? We traded the Kai and the farm animals for the Paku and the ruffians. Lost Days the warden. Block elsewhere. This might be too early game to want to have animated the engine room, but the idea with animating your non-basics in this set, particularly the common dual lands, is that if you animate one of those, if you sacrifice them later in the game, they'll come back to the board and you can sacrifice them again. So you can get like multiple pieces of card draw out of them. Team Avatar is more than scary enough. I think I have to quench over the Lost Days there. Let's take a little bit of Warden damage. We're really hoping to draw land 6. Ideally. Being able to Badger Mole and still have the 4/4 land untapped. Have 2 4/4s would be great. I keep playing good quench targets. Alright, perfect. Land 6. I could also just Watery Grass the Warden now that their enchantment removal's gone. It doesn't seem bad at all. It can sit there and do some ping damage to us. But it's 3 mana for them to do that ping damage, and they're on 3 lands still. And we can still shuffle it away soon enough. Alright, let's go. Big old Badger Mole roadblock. I'll hold up Lost Days. They play anything that we need to Lost Days, and we will Lost Days it. And if they don't play anything we need to Lost Days, then we'll shuffle away the Warden. So I don't have to worry about the 1 extra damage every turn that they're not doing anything else, like that turn cycle there. Oh, something I forgot to mention. There's a cabbage cart on the avatar board. If you blow it up by clicking it too much and break it, you get a cabbage pet. Might have to Lost Days here if they attack all. Okay, they're not going to attack all. I still kind of want to Lost Days. This board state's getting a little wide for my tastes at 13 life. Yeah. Sokka's the draw. Pick up a land for me for Sokka, please, Ostrich Horse, and then crack the clue as well. Let's go. Let's get a couple cards towards the Sokka sack. And this is where animating non-basic hurts. Because that's our Sokka mana, obviously. Four mana, 4/4 haste, and all of their other allies come with a +1/+1 counter and haste. That is a terrifying card. But they do not want to trade into Badgermole because they want to buff their other allies, which is fair. There's another red source of Thermal Arena. Perfect. Get a Scry when we play it as well. I'm happy to draw into a Teller. Draw. Origin of Metal Bending and Fortune Teller. If I don't attack with the airship this turn, I can cast both. So let's hold up both. Can attack with Badgermole instead. They could chump block this, which they can't do with the airship, but otherwise it's essentially the same attack. If they try to kill it, then we just play the Origin. Alright, we'll wipe out 3 little dudes at the cost of 1 Origin of Metal Bending. Jet Freedom Fighter. 4 damage to any target, so there goes Airship Engine Room. But it comes right back, just as a tap land. Ooh, that's an ally for haste as well. It's a pretty scary turn. I got the Ostrich Horse to trade in a jet, though. So they're not even going to attack. That is a big finisher, that Dragonfly Swarm. What do you got, top deck? Rebellious Captives. Sure. Looks pretty good. 4, 2, and a 1/1 on Badgermole. Or is this a pass? Go to 10. Ooh, 4/4 and 4/2 on it. Sure, I will kill the scary protesters thing. Then here's my flyer to finish this game. And a captives for many blocks. I may have forgotten to Waterbend the Vindictive Warden away on a previous turn, but now I will remember. I've got 5 untapped permanents. We'll just do that in the end step. Haiku is a wonderful draw. We just kind of swing Dragonfly Swarm at them. 3 turns in a row. Actually, if we cast Haiku, we're putting another non-creature card in our grave and we're milling 3 to maybe put another one in there. This could be a 2-turn kill depending on what Haiku mills. Because it's going to be 7 damage. If it mills 2 non-land cards, that's a 2-turn kill. And then obviously also I could try to just go wide and attack with everybody. Okay, they're going to Firebend with Zuko so they can cast this lesson here. And then we just counter the lesson with Haiku and see if that gets Dragonfly Swarm to 9 power. I'm just gonna let that resolve, because that doesn't matter. Okay, there's the concession from our opponent. I'm like, then they're just lethal, period? So I think I just saved the counterspell in case they had like one last backup spell to play, because if that resolves and they're tapped down to just 1 mountain, they're just already dead on board. So we will just take that as the route to victory there. They block a 4/4, they block a 2/2, they take 9. That is 3-1 heading into game number 5. Mono green opener for game number 5, but it's got quite the curve. We have 2 captives at 2 mana, an ostrich horse at 3, another land off the seismic sense. Hoping to find our other color, and we drew another 3 mana card here. I guess I shouldn't say it has quite the curve, it has quite the early game plays. which is important for a 2-lander opener like this. Alright, let's sense. We'll take any land we can get here. Island it is. Paco or captives? I'm gonna play another captives. They don't have a 3-mana creature. It's gonna be 4 damage to their face next turn. They've got a bit of a dirtly opener. You just have another 1/1. Yeah, so we're still getting damage in then. Shared Roots is a good draw here. But it doesn't fit into the curve perfectly. I think I want to play Ostrich Horse, so that I can play a creature to the board and get land for, instead of playing Shared Roots and just only getting land for, without affecting the board at all. Although it's not like Ostrich Horse is the best creature ever. At 1 toughness against multiple 1/1s here. Green-red duel, we've got no 1-mana play. So might as well play the tap land. Now we can double spell next turn. 3 different 2-mana plays to choose from. If we top deck an untapped land, then we can play any 2 spells of our choice. Probably gonna Lightning Strike this Haru before it makes too many more Earthbended lands. Although, Lightning Striking that is just gonna end up Lightning Striking the Protectors. But, same with Lightning Striking Kyoshi Warriors. Yeah. I mean, I guess I could Lightning Strike the Forest. Really cannot attack into this board now. Kyoshi Warriors, just a great card in general. I think I want to drop the flyer then. Start hitting for 2 in the sky every turn. Lightning Strike this in their upkeep to tap them out of the mana. It's the only other card I can Lightning Strike is Earth Kingdom Protectors anyway. Another ally, a Pox Bearers. Another 1/1 land. They're on a 7-turn clock from First Time Flyer. Like the Fortune Teller here. Yeah, I really need to keep hitting lands. Get to 6 mana for our double captives. Fortune Teller puts a creature to our board and draws a card trying to hit a land. Maybe better just Shared Roots instead of cracking the clue right now, though, and just get a guaranteed land right here, right now. Instead of a blind draw. Does feel better. It's kind of a scary board that they have here. We haven't taken any damage yet, but if they play anything that buffs the whole board, like +2/+2 to everybody or something like that, getting really close to like even threatening lethal at some point. A flyer. Scry to the top. Sokka's a reasonable one here. don't think either of these are the greatest blockers here, so I don't mind turning them into lands or instants or sorceries. Get to land number 6, gets other instant sorceries to play. It's the perfect land. Wow. I think it's going to be Crack a Clue, Cast a Quench, over-activate this right now, especially when I've got these 6 mana abilities. We'll wait to activate this till we've spent the more expensive ways. Okay, Rumble Arena is a good one to start putting the counters onto. Well, this is the exact kind of card we really needed to not see. They have exactly the Quench mana. I mean, yeah, that they just win, period, right? Whole board gets +1/+0, and when any of them die, they're immediately replaced with another 1/1. Only once per turn, so they have to keep sending one in at a time, but it's still devastating. It's any permanent too, not even non-land permanent. Scry a land away. Unfortunately, I have to tap out a Quench to activate a Captives here, but my blocks are real bad without activating a Captives, so my hand's kind of forced. Okay. We still got our Earthbended land. Now we can do it again later if we last till later. I don't think we have time to buff this Sokka really at all. This should give them 1/1/1. I believe. I guess since they all left at the exact same time, maybe it's 3? Because it could see all 3 of them die and put 1 trigger out for 3. No, it is just 1. Cool. We're just dead to the go wide. Alright. We just got bombed pretty hard. And there was nothing we could do about that. We had 1 removal spell all game, which was a Lightning Strike. And even if Lightning Strike was big enough to kill that, they had the Earth Kingdom Protectors. So we couldn't kill anything relevant that game. Like, if I held the Lightning Strike instead of blowing up that land early, I couldn't even kill Glider Kids because that's also an ally. The Earth Kingdom Protectors was a massive MVP this game. Right, if your opponent only draws 1 removal spell, Earth Kingdom Protectors make sure they never blow up anything relevant. That was pretty gross. Alright, so Earth Kingdom Protectors and Suki, the big MVPs there. We are down to 3-2, heading into game number 6. Here we are for game number 6. Some pretty awkward mana here. This time, we have kept some monocolored hands before, but they always had at the very least like the seismic sense to dig a little farther and try to hit another land. This would be a mono green hand with a 2/2 that can get beefed up and a Badger Mole for the late game, but nothing to help us draw cards, nothing to help us dig for lands. I think this would be quite a risky monocolored 2-land keep, so I think I have to take the mulligan this time, whereas I didn't with previous monocolored hands. If this was Island and the rest of this hand, I'd probably keep it because then it would again be a hand that has a little bit of digging to try to hit the next land. It would have at least that clue token off of the Fortune Teller. 2 early castable spells instead of just 1, plus clue tokens play really well with counter spells. So I think there's a lot more going towards if it's Island here, even if it still is risky, but Forest, that's gotta be a mulligan for me. Alright, much better mana. We'll ditch a land here because Ostrich Horse finds the 4th, and I would prefer not to flood. Earth Kingdom Protectors, turn 1. Our first draw is land 4 immediately, so now we actively want to draw no more lands for the next like 4 turns in a row. If Ostrich Horse finds one off of the mill, that is. Yeah, I wouldn't mind hitting land 6 turn 6, but obviously in the meantime, until, 5 turns from now, I would like to draw some spells. But having a 6th land on turn 6 would let us play a Badger Mole and poke them with whatever we Earthbended in the same turn. It looks like basically the same deck so far. We don't know for sure what colors they are. But we see Earth Kingdom Protectors into Pretending Pox Bearers. 2 of the exact same cards we saw last game. So we know they're in white, but the Rumble Arena could be any colors. Airbending lesson to slow down the captives. Draw a card. Poke us for 3. Another Rebellious Captures the draw. So turn 4 we'll play double 2 drop. Turn 3 we'll play the horse looking for land 5 for the Badger Moles. Tap land's actually a little awkward here. Still not awkward enough to choose a +1/+1 counter over it, but certainly not perfect. So blue-white this time around. I think we just trade into the Earth Kingdom Protectors here. That way any of our removal can actually clear out something later. They have a powerful ally. In blue and white, there's a really gross rare. There's a Katara. I think it's like a double blue, white, and 3 for like a 3/3 that comes with a 1/1. But for X mana, and it's Waterbending X mana, you make your whole board XX's till end of turn. Okay, Team Avatar plus another creature, and now their 1/1 could attack as a 4/4. Their 2/1 can attack as a 5/4. Team Avatar is sketchy. We are down to 12. They just get 4 power vigilant flying attacks every turn. Oh boy. Maybe a quick little turnaround, quick ending for us, kind of getting our losses in one chunk here. Not all of them, but 2 losses in a row to end it. But that's fine. I don't think this deck was super impressive or anything. I was just happy to try playing around in some different colors. I'm okay with an average run for this deck. The deck did look pretty average. We're on a 3-turn clock here. Momo kills us in 3 flying vigilant swings. The ostrich horse trades aren't great, because they can just pox bears to make sure that their creature count is the same, but we have to do like everything in our power to try to reduce the number of creatures they have on board. Which means if we clear out the pox bears first, then clear out any of their creatures. Team Avatar is smaller, and maybe not a 3-turn clock. Depending on their hand, if they have like Kyoshi Warriors or something that spits out 2 creatures off 1 spell, we could be dead in 2 swings. Okay, they don't play any creatures pre-combat, so that's 3-turn kill right now. We take 4, we're down to 8. 2 turns away from there. There's Airbender Ascension to slow us down a tiny bit. Doesn't really do anything else for a good amount of time. Boomy Bash is the draw. It's not perfect. But it's still the best play we have for this turn. Because it'll reduce them to 2 creatures total. They just sack the Earth Kingdom Protectors, and now we only take 3 a turn instead of 4 a turn. So now it takes 3 more turns to die instead of just 2 more turns to die. Yeah, I mean, that's the best play we got. Everything else is blockers on the ground, which doesn't do anything about Momo at all. At least that reduces Momo's power by 1. They did top deck another creature, so that's going to be back to a 2-turn kill. So we're dead if we don't hit anything here. And we didn't hit anything here. All we got are creatures on the ground. We die in the sky. And that is going to be game. That is going to end this run there. That is 2 games in a row. That Earth Kingdom Protectors was a big, big MVP. Without Earth Kingdom Protectors, we would have actually killed the Momo there, which still would have had us on the back foot for sure. Because they would still have Team Avatar, and then they would have, let's say this is any other like 1 mana 1/1. They'd have 3 creatures off of that draw. They could still attack with a 4/4 and like force trumps, but I'd have more time to try to get these Badger Moles to help stabilize us. So yeah, just being able to protect that that Momo there ensured that 2-turn kill in the end, even through the Boomy Bash, or I guess 3-turn kill technically. We were at 12, and then they hit for 4, then 4, then 4. Yeah, huge up in Earth Kingdom Protectors in my pick order. I think that card is deceptively great. It was not the sole reason we lost either of those games. It did need to be backing up some kind of actual win condition, so it was backing up their flyer that game, and it was backing up like their bomb rare in the second loss, but it is really good at backing that stuff up. All right, what do I think about the deck? Maybe should have played the Rocky Rebukes. I did find often we were low on interaction, and that's kind of our only other option for interaction. I do think that the Rocky Rebukes are weaker in here than most green decks, because we're only, again, we're on 12 creatures total, and most of those are like 1 or 2 power, but even being able to Rocky Rebuke for 2 at some point, I think would have been reasonable in some of these games. Again, it's not a great Rocky Rebuke deck, but I did really find myself wishing I had a bit more interaction in these games. Maybe even play those over the shared roots. I felt like I never really had too many mana issues, even without drawing shared roots. So maybe swap these 2 out for those 2, something like that during the deck building. Yeah, it just felt like a pretty average little teamer spellslingery deck. Double captives there was nice in the end game. There's really not a lot to say about this deck. It's not particularly exciting to me. It's not particularly interesting to me. It's just generic good stuff in green and blue primarily. A little bit of a red splash because we managed to pick up plenty of fixing towards it. Just some average teamer stuff for an average record in the end. That'll be 3-3 for the final record out of today's draft. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send some more in the recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. Other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.